I'm your host and facilitator, Billy Ryan, and I want to welcome you to the Black Church Leadership Podcast with Master Life Coach and NLP practitioner, Apostle Martin Wilson. Apostle Wilson's goal for creating this podcast is to help you, as a church leader, to remove the spiritual, mental, and psychological hindrances that keep you from being the best version of yourself. We now go to our broadcast already in progress.
Grace and peace. This is Bishop Wilson. Welcome to the Black Church Leadership Podcast. Listen, I am excited today. One of my friends that I've been trying to get on here because I know that he has a wealth of wisdom to share. I have with us today Bishop John Wade. He is the presiding, the president of the International Leadership College of Bishops and Pastors. Bishop, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to allow us to speak with you today.
Bishop Martin Wilson, what a joy. Let me first of all say we are friends, and we go way back into the Bishop Ellis days. Before Bishop became an archbishop, we were a part of the same organization.
Yes.
I remember when we came together, we decided, you and I decided to do a leadership conference together. We were younger men back then.
Yes.
We got the hotel, we had it set up, and I mean, we had record numbers of people
Yes.
up. And Bishop Ellis asked me, how'd it go? Wade, how'd it go? I said, Bishop, I enjoyed working with Mark Wilson, and I think he was a little upset that he wasn't there. It turned out so well, and we have precious memories of training leaders and teaching them how to influence in many dimensions. So I'm glad to be here, and it's my joy. I've been actually looking forward to being here with you.
Man, I'm so glad we could make this happen. So glad we could make it happen. So our subject today, for those of you that are watching, is leadership. And the reason I started this podcast is because I want leaders in small to medium-sized churches to have access to men like Bishop Wade, to be able to hear their wisdom, hear their knowledge, and be able to connect with them so that they could find mentors. Because I really believe we are definitely in that place where there's few fathers now. Very few fathers.
Amen. And St. Martin, I'll add to that. One of the things that I've noticed, first of all, we both know that leadership is influence, but it's a holistic view. One of the things the Holy Spirit has been revealing to me is that we need more mentors. We call them Episcopal fathers. We call them apostolic leaders. There are many, many names, but I do believe that we need someone who has taken the journey and that can then lead us on the journey that they've taken. And we have too many leaders who are not learning from others. Now, we've known each other for years. I've been in Panama City pastoring worship center here for 25 years, working with the college, was Archbishop Ellis's assistant. I was an elder. I don't know if you remember that. I was an elder. I was a minister. I was a minister. I was an elder. And our ministers went through grades: aspirant, exhorter, licensed, and then ordained. Then we became an elder, and I served as an elder and a deacon. And I never preached. After that, I eventually became a ruling elder, then an assistant pastor. Then I started, I was the minister of worship. I was over the brotherhood. All of these years, 8 years of serving. And then we started a church in Panama City. My medical career brought me here. But even then, I served as an overseer. I served as a bishop designate. I was appointed as bishop, then a ruling elder, overseer over a Providence, the bishop of that Providence. And then later, so I was with Bishop Ellis for 30 years. 30 years. I wrote a book called Through the Eyes of the Protege. I picked top 10 things Bishop Ellis taught me and really delved into them. So I think when we talk about leadership, we also need to remind our leaders that they have to have someone that they respect, someone that has taken the journey, and someone that they can say to them, literally, I want you to mentor me. I want you to help me, teach me. I see that you have a lifestyle, not just in word or in writing, but in living it. You have a history of integrity, the integral, the numbers, the integrals, 1, 2, 3, those are numbers. They are called integrals because numbers never change. And so
Right.
leaders with integrity are those who can help others come along and to become without being intimidated or threatened because they understand the
Hmm.
journey that they took.
That's good. That's good. And I'm glad you said that. And I'm reminded of Dr. John Maxwell. He said that a lot of leaders are just travel guides. They've never been on the journey. They're not tour guides. They're travel guides. And we definitely need leaders who have been there. Leaders like yourself that have walked beside the modern day church fathers. Definitely.
Yeah,
What would you say? Yes, sir.
Maxwell calls it the chicken circuit.
Yes,
You
sir.
speak and eat chicken.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I give you $100. The next month you come back and give me the $100 back. That's it. Bishop, what would you say are the key characteristics that you believe make a great leader?
I think a leader, and again, we haven't practiced these questions. So
No.
I want to just be clear to your leaders that I often teach from a deep well. And so I'll share some perspectives. I think a leader should first recognize the 7 key areas of developing their lives, 7 key areas that they should focus on. And so those top areas would be their walk with God. If a leader is going to really discover who he is, he has to discover the creator. Miles Monroe talks about that over and over again. But his relationship with God, that is the first foundation for a key, strong leader. Secondly, you know where I'm going, his health. Let me tell you something. The well have 1,000 wishes. The sick only has one.
Oh, my.
And
Oh,
so
my.
many of the times leaders will try to fulfill their purpose and their destiny, and they forget about their health. They spend years gaining wealth, and then they spend that wealth on their health.
The health.
Leaders don't sleep 8 hours a day, so therefore their bodies don't heal very well. They eat red meat and pork. Pork have worms. Milk has pimples, pimple juice. Milk has pus. They're lactose intolerant. They're bloated. They're overweight.
Yep.
They have fat. Their insulin levels are off. And a lot of leaders will literally try to preach in a sick body. And here's the thing. No matter how well your body is, when you lose your body, no matter how deep you are, you can raise the dead. But when your body ends, it's over. And so
It's
I think
over.
a leader has to focus on his health. No one wants to follow and be with a leader who can barely lift his hands. And so, okay, number 3, I got a lot to say on that. So number 3 is personal growth. A leader should personally grow. A leader should, I can give you 7, but I'll give you 3 because I know you got a series of questions.
Take your time.
Okay. So number 3, there's 7 ways to grow. There's 7. Most people can't handle the first 3. I won't give you all 4, but 3 ways we grow. The books we read, the people we meet, the places we go. Book, people, places. Books, people, places. You should read books on your topic and broad, and listen to audibles. People, meet people.
Yes.
If they don't know you, they won't flow you. If they don't know you, they'll never tell you where to go with them. And so it is key to meet people. Where do you go to reach people? Where do you go to market? Is it Facebook and Instagram? No, it's everywhere. The goal of a leader is to find out where the fish are and then begin to throw his hook to reach those people. Book, people, places. The third way you grow is you visit new places. I just came back from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. My deacon said to me, "You're the only pastor I've ever met who was out there skiing up there in the mountains with the Kardashians and stuff." And I cracked up, but later I thought about it. And so what happens is leaders have a tendency of getting locked into their little world and in a little circle, and they don't realize there's a huge world, and you got to expose yourself to the cold. You got to expose yourself to the mountains. You got to expose yourself to the weather, the atmosphere, the change of a tire. And so those are growth methods, book, people, places. So your question is, what influences, what makes a leader a leader? Their walk with God, their personal health, their ability to grow. Number 4, their ability to love and care for their family, which is the core of their ministry. The core of your ministry is your family. The core of your leadership is having a home where your wife is happy. And I can say all day on that topic. Number 5 is your ability to enjoy your hobbies. I met a woman and I asked her, so what are your hobbies? You know, she was having a tough, meeting people and wanting to date. I said, what are your hobbies? She said, my hobby is intercession. And I looked at her, I said, your hobby is what? She said, my hobby is intercession. I said, that ain't your hobby. That's your ministry. I said, you need to go back and figure out what you love to do without having to be deep.
That's good. That's
Right?
good, Bishop.
Right. And so, and the more we talked, she discovered that, she enjoyed swimming. She enjoyed going outdoors. I have at least 15 hobbies. It has nothing to do with speaking in tongues. It has nothing to do with being spiritual. It is something that I enjoy. I have fun. I invite my friends. I go rock climbing. I'm a scuba diver.
Wow.
I spearfish. I free dive. I ski. I rock climb. I have to take you rock climbing. I just took Bishop Jones rock climb with me. I rock climb. I run obstacle courses. I do Spartans. I do Tough Mudders. I do Savages. I swim in difficult. I could go on. I play basketball. I play a pickleball. I do hot ball competitions. They call me Doc. They don't even know. Some don't even know I'm a pastor. So hobbies is the fifth way. The sixth way is building a life that is entrepreneurial to experience your multi-dimensions in your life. You got to keep yourself in different environments so that you can discover who you really are. Most people never discover their entrepreneurial abilities, and your wealth may not necessarily come from your church. Your wealth can come from many, many avenues where you can be a blessing to your church and to the people. And then finally, number 7 is your financial acuity, your financial savviness, your financial ability to be able to discern. And so those are the top 7 areas where people should strive to grow. They should spend at least 300 years working on this. You don't have time for Netflix. You don't have time for Hulu.
Say that.
You don't have
Say that, Bishop.
gossip and naysayers and moaning and complaining. You don't have time to be sick. You should be pursuing these goals so that all that God has put in you can come out.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. What for that pastor who has created that little bubble? What would you say to him if he comes to you and say, well, Bishop, how do I break out of this box?
Get a mentor. Get someone.
That was my next question. Go ahead, Bishop.
Yeah, that's good. You do it well. The key here is to get a mentor. Get someone who you respect and that you will change your schedule to be with them when they make the call of the invitation. I tell leaders all the time, leaders call me all the time, and some of them get real discouraged. I tell them, if you need mentoring and you want a spiritual leader, which to me, all that's kind of together. If you want a father, mentor, spiritual leader, it's going to be, one cannot grow in the atmosphere of convenience. Most leaders want to grow in an environment that is convenient to them. And I tell leaders all the time, if I'm going to be your leader, you may not want me to be your leader because I'm going to require you to change your conference. I'm going to require you to have to get on a plane or drive a real long distance to be with me. And when I invite you, I expect you to change your schedule. I expect you to save up your little nickels and sell some bologna sandwiches and show up. Because if you really want the oil, then there is going to have to be a place of sacrifice and tears so that you can get the impartation that you need so that God could use you in that next level. See, Martin and Bishop,
yes, sir.
It's opportunity. The origin of the word opportunity means an open port, opportunity, open port. What happened, ships would have to come into a port, and they had to wait till the tide was just right, because if they didn't, the tide would destroy all their cargo and wealth. So they had to wait for the right opportunity, the open port. And so when the opportunity came, then they had to move in quickly. Number 2, whenever a woman is getting ready to give birth, the doctor will go in with 2 fingers and 3 fingers. What he's doing, he's waiting for the cervix to fully expand. He waits for that opportunity. If the woman pushes too early, she can damage her cervix and also bring fatality to the child. So you push at the right open port.
My goodness. My goodness.
So,
That's
so,
wonderful.
so to answer your question, I recommend that a
Mm,
leader find someone who they want to mentor, who they can submit themselves to, inconvenience
mm-hmm.
themselves, do without, so that they can receive the impartation that a leader is trying to give, because more things are caught than taught.
Mm-hmm. 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 That's good. They've got to be in the circumference of it. That's good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. The astronauts, the NASA, what they did is that they discovered that if they shot a probe from the Earth and it went out to Mars or Venus, that it would take so many years. What they discovered is that if they could shoot the probe through the rings of Saturn, if it could get into
Mm.
the atmosphere of Saturn, Saturn was so fast it would cause the probe to leak months to years to its destination. The fact
Wow.
that the probe got in the right atmosphere created acceleration that then caused the probe to reach its destination years before it was supposed to, just because it got in the atmosphere of the rings of Saturn. We have to get in the rings of leaders and their atmospheres where they can challenge us to be better. And that's why I strive in those seven areas I shared with you, because it's important that when people come to me about their devotion to God and hearing Him and their health and their personal growth, I have to make sure that my rings are moving at a certain
God.
pace,
My
so
God.
that when
My
people
God.
come into it, they go like, "Oh my God, this is going to save me 5 years, 10 years, just
Yes.
being with
Yes.
you for a half a day."
And Bishop, that you just don't know how true that is, because I can say this honestly. After UPCC, I got lazy. I got lazy. It was nothing for Bishop Ellis to have a Saturday workshop and load up the whole church. In December, no, in January one year, we went up
Yes.
for a 1 day workshop. I'd never experienced Cleveland cold. Had on my little coat, thought that I had something on, but it seems like, and I guess it's really at that point where I'm going to have to do it myself, because it doesn't seem like the people of God have that urgency anymore.
Yes.
What would how what would you say to that leader that's wanting to push their people to introduce them to these atmospheres, but they, oh, well, I can't. That's too far. I'm like, do you realize that we used to drive that and didn't even get a hotel room? I'm talking about when we came to Cleveland, we didn't even get a hotel room. We came, we did the conference, we got back in the van and made church the next day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We live in a society of conveniences and comfort. Make me feel good. Tell me what I want to hear. And if you don't, I'm going to find somebody who will. So we build a generation of leaders that are not mentally strong. They do not have mental grit and stability. I think the best example I can give you, St. Martin, is this. When a group of physicists came together, and they put very tiny clocks that had pendulums in the entire library, and they were ticking at different paces. Tick tock, tick tock. It was hundreds of these little clocks. And so the physicists rolled in a huge, massive clock, and the clock was boom, boom. It was moving back and forth like that. So they closed the door, shut the lights off, came back the next morning. When they came in St. Martin, they noticed that all the little tiny clocks were moving at the same
Same.
rhythm of the big clock. And what they concluded is that the rhythm of the big clock was so impactful by its presence that it changed the atmosphere in the room, and all of the other clocks began to rock at the same beat. A leader must strive for personal growth and development that is so intense and so intentional and so steady and unmovable, always abounding, that when people come into the presence and the anointing of a real leader, they know it. I meet people all the time. I tell people, I was talking to someone the other day and I made them nervous. And they were like, why are you, Bishop, how'd you make so? I say, it's not that I'm intentional about that. I said, what people begin to sense is that there is more than what they see. And so they sense the intensity because you want to build that rhythm in that atmosphere. I was teasing with one person.
Mhm.
I said, I'm really a warrior. I said, I was teasing somebody. I said, I'm really a warrior. I'm really inside, I'm a lion and I'm a Spartan warrior, but I'm
Yeah.
disguised as a bishop. I'm disguised.
I saw your pictures. I saw your pictures where I think you had just did a triathlon. I said, oh man, this man is awesome.
Yeah. So what we want to do is I encourage leaders to use time as their assistant. Use time as your equity. I tell people 6 months to a year, we are going to blank. This is where we're going.
Okay.
I need y'all to start now. Instead of getting your hair done, miss a hairdo, sell some cake, sell some pies. Them little Pookie got them $300 shoes on. And cheerleaders, they cheerleading costs like $5,000 a year. So what you do is you manage what you have early enough to build equity. So when I say let's go, you're not looking at me funny for a donation. You're already prepared. Right. Preparation is the beginning of hope. Preparation is the beginning of hope. As a leader, I'm always preparing for the next day, for the next week, for the next month, for the next year. And I make sure that my budget, my mind, my family, and the people around me are on the same page.
Moving forward. Yeah. That's good.
Yes.
That is good. That is good. Look, you're answering so many of the questions that I had already down. What would you say is one of the common pitfalls of an expiring leader? And I hate to say it, that's something that most leaders now, they don't even know what it is to be an expired. We knew what it was to have to be 5 years in before you even became an elder. What would you say are some of the pitfalls of a expiring leader that they should be aware of?
Yeah. Number one, false expectations. I teach leaders immediately. When you come into my atmosphere, have no expectations. So a guy asked me the other day, Bishop, how do you keep your momentum? I'm doing a lot. And, I have a medical program here. I have a phlebotomy school. I have a med program here. We have a ministry here. We do. I do real estate. I have Turo. We have churches. We have International College of Bishops and Pastors. We have Airbnb. I can go on, and I don't say that to brag. I'm saying that because I remind leaders that whenever I'm doing a project or I'm serving another leader, I lose expectation. Let me give you an example. So a bishop will call me and say, Bishop Wade, I would like you to come and speak at my conference. So what I will do for him is I will say, okay, not a problem. And then I go about business. He said, well, what about your flight? I like, what about the flight? Well, we need to fly here. I said, oh, okay. Talk to the secretary. Bishop, what about your honorarium? I said, what about that? So what happens is I keep in my mind real clear that when I'm doing kingdom work, I have no expectation. My attitude is I may have to get on a bicycle and get there. But my point is when you serve another leader, as long as you don't build false expectations, you won't be disappointed. Mm-hmm. Leaders lose their momentum and drive because they have false expectations. If I'm expecting, tonight, you talk to me, you said, Bishop Wade, I'd like you to be on my conference. I had agreed to it. And so so let's say, for example, I just didn't show up at all. I mean, just zero. So you would then be like, well, why did Bishop do me that way? You feel kind of funny because you had an expectation of me to show up. So when you have expectation, you can be disappointed. But if you just said, well, I didn't invite Bishop and he didn't say he was coming, and you had come on this broadcast, you would have been just fine because there was no expectation. So when I do kingdom work, the way I keep my momentum, the way I keep my juice, my fire, is I don't have expectations from people. And as a result, they never disappoint me. It's
Wow, that's
discouragement.
good.
It's
Yeah,
discouragement. I
yeah,
understand that when I do ministry, you deal with various personalities. And so what you want to do is my attitude is I'm here to serve and I'm going to give you my best service. I'm going to teach you right. I'm going to
yes.
correct you, rebuke you with all long suffering. I'm going to do all those
Mm-hmm.
good things. I'm going to love you. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, if somebody comes to me and says, Bishop, I'm leaving. It's okay. It's okay. And I told one person, I said, to be honest, I don't blame you. I said, they left my ministry. I said, I don't blame you. I said, I wouldn't put up, if I was you, I wouldn't put up with me. I wouldn't put up with nobody telling me to come out of sin. You need to get your life together. You need to read 3 books a month. You need to go walk. You can't eat don't be eating chicken fried, onion rings fried, potato chips fried, neck bones fried, lips, you get fried chitlins. I wouldn't put up with nobody like that telling me I got to just stand upright and speak clearly. And I'm always under
Mm-mm.
scrutiny by this leader trying to make me sharper. I said, I don't blame you. I would just go someplace and be dull. I would go someplace
My God.
and have a form of godliness but no power. I don't blame you. It's easy. It's easy to be nothing. So I said, I don't blame you because my road is hard. It's narrow. It's
Yes.
straight.
Yes.
It takes grit. You cry. You have tears. You sweat. You ask God why. But then after it's all said and done, you got to get up the next day early in the morning and you got to get yourself together, tell yourself it's going to be all right, and you got to keep moving. That's what Bishop Ellis
Mm-hmm.
taught me. The old man taught me this, St. Martin. The old man taught me that in his training, and I'll share something personal with you. It's in my book, Through the Eyes of the Protege. But this is what he said to me. He said, John, he said, it was sitting in his office. He said, John, if I love you and you cannot take my correction and discipline, one day when you pastor, how will you be able to fight the devil and he hates you and he's your ancient foe who's seeking to work woe to you? He says, so you got to make a choice. You're going to submit to the discipline and grow and become, or you're going to fade away, hide, and become weak and not have an effective ministry.
Wow. That's powerful. That is powerful. And it's so that level of commitment to a mentor is so foreign today. And I see the great work that you're doing, and I've got to get down. I've got to get down to. I was just looking at the July conference, and I'm going to have you share about that.
You need to come.
I've got to.
Mark, I'm calling you Mark. We free. We go.
Yes, no
after
problem.
you go back 25, 30 years, we start calling each other Bishop, Apostle Martin, Bishop Martin.
Yes.
Bishop. You should come. Let me tell you why. There are 2 main reasons, maybe 3 or 4, but 2 main reasons. Number one, the fellowship is phenomenal. Just being around leaders, predominantly African Americans. We have a few different groups, but predominantly, but they're professional. They are God-centered. They understand my ethos. They understand my passion for what I do in leadership. And so you get that. You get the connection. But secondly, if you don't get nothing else, you get training out the face, out the ear. We train.
I know with you. I know that's
Right?
true. I know that's true.
It's academic. We start in the morning. We go all the way to noon, do a little lunch, and have something in the afternoon. But we teach how to bless babies, how to do ordinations, how to develop your leadership skills, how to bless. Matter of fact, a shout broke out on, I believe, blessing babies. And one man jumped up and just started speaking and just tore the whole conference up 15 minutes. Just the poor man said, Bishop Kevin Dickinson said, I'm going to talk about blessing babies or something. And when he said it, the Holy Spirit dropped. This brother jumped up, that sister jumped up, and the organist a minute later just hit it, and we all just tore the whole conference room up. We just tore the room up. We just might as well just lay it out in the flow in God. I had to gather people. Bishop Dickinson had to gather folk back together, bring them back to their sanity.
My God. I know it's going to be phenomenal. because I see that same camaraderie. Even when I was looking at the pictures and the videos that you put up, and I said I miss that because there's so much. I don't even know what you call it, because for me, because what I had a pastor ask me, said, how do you feel doing ministry in Charlotte? Do you feel that it's competitive? I said, no, because I'm not watching everyone else. But you can always tell there's no friendship, no real friendships or camaraderie with those that have churches that are close enough for you guys to really have fellowship. So I miss that. I miss it.
You know, I had a call from a bishop, a pastor, and we were talking briefly. He said, you reached out to me. He said, you don't even know me. He said, but my wife bumped into you at another event, and he called me, and he literally, grown man, he literally began to weep on the phone about the
I can feel it.
pain of ministry,
Yeah.
and not just the devil, just other people, and the
Yeah.
trust and the connection. This is what I've learned, St. Martin. People ask themselves three questions when they meet you. Now, they don't know this is a secret,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm telling you a secret. Don't tell nobody. Here's the secret.
Yes, sir.
People ask themselves three questions when they meet you. Now, they don't know they're asking these three questions, but they're asking them. They want to know three
Mm-hmm.
things. Number one, do you care about me?
Do you care about me? Okay.
Can you help me? Is there something in your life that can help me kind of become a better man, a better person, a better father, better health wise? And then thirdly, can I trust you? Do you care about me? Can you help me? And can I trust you not to betray me and to take what I'm sharing and not use it as a dagger one day? So people ask that. And whenever I meet people or encounter people, I'm always reminding myself, they want to know, do I care about them?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They want to know, can they trust me? And they want to know, is there something in my life that can help them see their lives better, stronger, and faster?
Yeah.
And those are the three core things I believe in. I want people to know I care about you now. You know, it's going to get tough on the journey because we Navy SEALs. But,
Yeah.
you know, I care. I can help you. And I tell you one thing, if
Yeah.
nothing else, I'll never betray. I'll never
Yes,
utter
sir.
or
Yes,
betray
sir.
what you say to me. And those are the three qualities that people are asking themselves in our ministry.
Yes.
Our college has grown. We're going to double. Our registration has doubled coming up. I've booked
Come
the
on.
University of North Florida. So we're using the
Yes.
university, and we have a cathedral church that we're having our consecration. And all the pastors have decided to license those people who qualify, will license their leaders this year or next year, the elders. So we all coming together to consecrate our elders, all coming together to license our
Yes.
ministers.
Yes.
We're showing the unity and the fellowship. And
Mm-hmm.
we are investigating moving the college around. I'm not so set on seeing the college set just in Jacksonville. We can do trainings in
Mm-hmm.
other areas to add value to that community and to that leader.
That's good. That is good. That is good. Bishop, this has been priceless. This has been priceless. Look, I just got like two more questions, and then I definitely want you to share how people can get the information about the college, because it's much needed. And and from working with you in the past, I know you're very thorough when it comes to training. I'd say a lot of people that are calling it training now, but it's really it's not. It doesn't deal with the integral part of the training, and that is much
Excellent.
needed. So how would you say, and since we're talking about the training, how would you say that leadership development in a religious institution differs from in other secular organizations? Because I know you're in both arenas.
I am. And it's fascinating to me. The secular arena listens to you after they watch you and respect you. In the business world, people don't listen or follow you till they respect you. In the religious world, we often follow people who we think have a special anointing, but no integrity. And it is a fascinating dynamic to me. As I told my wife this other day, I said, I noticed how the secular world emphasized health. I go to Planet Fitness in the morning. I'm running out of my community. There's secular people. None of them go to church. Most of them don't. Some of them might, but most of them don't. They'll tell you in a heartbeat. Right. And they are serious about their health. And then I go to the church arena, and we're serious about God, but we could care less about our bodies. We show that by how we eat and how we exercise. And so there is a disconnect. Part of my responsibility is to take the secular world, who's really good at health, and bring them closer to God. And to take the spiritual people who go into heaven and bring them better for longevity. And somehow find that middle place where they can grow, be healthy, see their children's children, and not live in regret. I remind people all the time, it is better to change when you choose to than when you have to.
When you have to. That's good. That's good. I work at a senior living facility, and there's a lady there that is 101. Gets around better than any of the other residents, knows God, and exercises every day.
Isn't that beautiful?
So that what you're saying is that's so true. I've got to do better. But I definitely working on the food part, because that food is something, and I feel so much more energy, so much. And I need to get you back on here to maybe talk to us as leaders about that aspect of our lives too, because I know there's so much that you as a medical professional can help us with, that to not just think that it's like you said, we're not waiting until we have to change. Definitely. Yes. Tell us about this wonderful organization that you are the president of, and I definitely know that you have that fathering mentality about you, that fathering nature that has been, that mantle that has been passed. So please share.
Yeah, I think you got it right. It's a mantle. Many people, and I want to say that, I got to be very careful how I say this. Father Ellis was my spiritual father. I didn't join an organization to be with him. I was in medical school, and I heard the sounds of Pentecost. I joined Bishop Ellis Church as a young man in my early 20s, trying to get through medical school, and I became a member. And I told my wife I was going to sit on the back row and do nothing but just get through school. And God, in his own way, Marion Hickman heard me teach a little lesson and told Bishop, and doors opened, and Bishop asked me to become a deacon. And I watched and learned as I moved from deacon to assistant pastor, and Bible study on Wednesdays, and Friday night midnight prayer, Sunday morning service, Sunday night, and I went to school and I worked a job. I learned the rigors of ministry and how to balance it, and sometimes not balance it too well. I was there. I went through the suffering. So when Father went home to be with the Lord, a lot of people wanted his stuff. I wanted his mantle. And the only way you get that is you get that through the service. You don't get that showing up and maybe getting a title. That's through service. And so I watched the old man for 30 years. 30 years, one spiritual leader. So I understand what it means to be a son. I understand how it means to hurt and still serve. I understand how people do what they do in the shadows and then smile in public. I understand all of that. So after the pandemic, there were many leaders who were trying to figure out what to do. Father Ellis had passed. I think it had been a year or two, and there was no training or development. Some people were doing some things online, which was appropriate. But I sensed the Holy Spirit saying to me, I want you, and I've had leaders call me and to say, I want you to do something to help develop leaders, but help them with their health and longevity, help them with their families. There's 7 key pillars that our organization lives on, and that is those 7 pillars about your health and your devotion, and really learning how to be a holistic man or woman. And we believe that women can do ministry. And so that's what we started with, a
Yes.
little gathering. And that little gathering turned into a second gathering, and the second gathering turned into a national conference. Now, on our website, which is the International Leadership College of Bishops and Pastors, ilcobp.com, we have a plethora of things that we're offering. Our website just went up last month. We're still developing it, but there's an arm for people who want to do adjutancy and licensing and becoming bishops. I've had bishops say to me, "What do I need to do? How do I serve? What do I need to? What are the things that I need to do, because I need help?" And so we have been that organization to say, "Hey, we care about you. We're going to help you, and you can trust me. As long as there's breath in my body." And then the 2 bishops that work with me, Bishop Thomas Rouse, father is a bishop through Bible Way, Bishop Irvin Jones, Church of God in Christ, Bishop Eric Ellis. We have a plethora of leaders from different denominations, different backgrounds. What we have is a school. It is a college. It is a camaraderie. It is a connection where we're there to strengthen one another. Bishop Eric Ellis just had a conference in Jacksonville. He's from North Carolina. And Bishop Eric Ellis had this event. I just packed up, went over there to be with him. He was shocked I came. I said, "No, if we're friends, you can trust me. I care about you, and tell me what you need me to do. I'll just sit here." But he said, "I need somebody to pray." I said, "Well, I'll pray. I know how to pray." Whatever it is. And so, but that's what, Martin, that's what friends do for each other.
Yes.
And some of us, like you and
Yes.
I, we are just connected. I don't know. I can't explain that yet. There is a deep connection and respect and love that we have. I have that with certain men, not every man, but there's a godly connection that we have. And when we're together, it's like we've never been apart.
Exactly. That is something that I think the church so needs. So tell us about this conference that's coming up in July the 22nd.
It is. It's going to be phenomenal. On that Friday, the executive board and the advisory board, we're building our advisory board. You should come check us out. We're building our advisory board because I want leaders. I want leaders who can train, who can develop, who really have a heart for people. And we got people coming from everywhere, from Africa, from Ghana. We're establishing a prophetic team of teaching prophets how to really manage their prophecies. Just because you can prophesy don't mean you're the bishop or pastor. So we're going to teach you how to manage your prophetic gift and keep it within the realms of bringing the kingdom glory. So this conference is going to be phenomenal. Bishop Eric Ellis is going to be one of our co-consecrators. Bishop Irvin Jones, who's the dean of the college, brilliant. He is a life coach, and he is a brilliant worship leader. He's a brilliant young man. He's deep. I keep telling you, deep. You just too deep. Come up some. Let people breathe. Pastor Marie Wade is our overseer for our women's core. Bishop Thomas Rouse is the bishop of our convocation and planning. And we have Bishop designate Reginald Garment out of Atlanta, who's overseeing our retreats for our couples. And the list goes on and on and on. We are about training and development. And we want to be the place when people say, "How do you do that?" We want them to say, "Oh, you got to go to ILCOBP. You need to listen and watch the International Leadership College of Bishops and Pastors." You have to be there, though. That's what the bishops shared with me. We could do it online, but we're not. I want people to immerse. They are to immerse. You to come in on Friday, take off from work. Come in on Friday, relax, get yourself together, lay your clothes out, get up early that morning at 5 or 6, get a little exercise, show up at the college at 7. We start promptly at 8 o'clock with morning chapel. We go all day at this college till noon. At noon, we're going to have a short break, and then we're going to move directly into our consecration service. This is our national gathering. We have smaller gatherings throughout, trainings throughout the year, but this is when we all come together and we celebrate. It is going to be a joyous time. It is going to be a time of personal growth, friendships. And I tell people, network, meet people, shake hands, hug people, figure out who you like. They don't like you today, be nice to them tomorrow. You'd be amazed how people will change. Let me tell you something. People change over time. You get enough pain in your life, and that's one of them other out of the three growth things. That's
Oh,
another one.
yes.
Pain will make you grow up. Pain will do that. People can be stubborn and
Definitely.
say they ain't moving. I tell you, it's fine. I come back 6 months, see how you doing. Because pain will jack you. If you get you a stroke or a backache or lose a leg or an eye or
Hmm.
something traumatic happens, like a hurricane destroyed homes in Panama City,
Yes.
people came together in trials and tribulations like that. They were giving away food, helping people. Neighbors who never spoke began to speak because pain and tragedy and trauma will
Hmm.
transform a person. So I never give up on a person. I never. And this is what the college is all about.
Yes.
They've been talking about trying to feed the community. There's just a plethora of things that we're going to do to help leaders grow. You got to grow. And here's the key, St. Martin. We can do no more than the level of our growth. If we are here, if we're
Yes.
at a 6, I don't care if some 9 happen to you. Everything's coming back to a 6. If you are coming as a 6 and things at a 3, it's going to come back to a 6. The goal of the leader is to keep growing and growing and growing till he bring everybody up, because rising
With
tides
him.
float all boats.
My God. That is so good. That is so good. Bishop, please let us know, where can we get your books? How can people get in touch with you? Where can they get your books? Give us the website addresses one more time.
Now it's ilcobp.com, International Leadership College of Bishops and Pastors.com. On that, when you click, you're going to see several tabs, and then there are learning resources. I have placed on there my book, Through the Eyes of the Protege. You can order it through Amazon.com.
Okay.
And you can go and order my new book that we published last year, which is At Death's Door. I talk about Marie's aneurysm and how she survived, and she's 110%. God has totally restored that woman, and I share my painful journey. But God did it. And we have this song, I think it was John P. Key. I made it out, and I made it out. All
Yes.
right.
All right.
We made it out all right.
That is it. All right, man. That is so God. Bishop, thank you so much. I'm going to go and get my book today. Today, I need to get that book. I had seen the newest one, but I wasn't aware of the one that you wrote about the proteges.
Yes.
So I wasn't aware of that. So I need to go get
Through
that
the eyes
today.
of the protege.
Definitely.
Through the eyes of the protege.
Through the eyes of my God. Any closing?
No, go
yes,
ahead.
Sir. Go ahead. Now, I was going to say, any closing words of encouragement to our audience? As I said, we put this together for pastors, the small, the medium-sized churches that may not be able to go out and get the training that they need. But even, and you guys that are listening, please go to their website. I know usually when you think College of Bishop, you think thousands of dollars for these conferences. Please go. That is not the case with what Bishop is offering. And I promise you, the caliber of teaching that is going to be there is going to be phenomenal. I believe that.
Absolutely. Our college is sponsored by our executive and advisory board. We have, you'll look around and you'll discover that there are colleges that are worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. I look in amazement and I'm like amazed. However, our college is basically you just register. Not much, but the information we want to over deliver.
Yes.
We want to over deliver. I want people to say, I receive so much value. We have packages and materials.
Yes.
And on our website, as you click, you will be able to see all the various opportunities, the classes, the trainings, and things that we're adding. The website is new. So as we do these kinds of sessions, and maybe Bishop Martin, a segment of this we can include on our website so that people can listen to it as a gift to them so that they can grow. We believe in supporting them. Words of encouragement. I think of several things I would want to say to your listeners. But I think most importantly is I want to encourage your leaders to have no white space on their calendar. There's leave no white space on your calendar. Let me show you what I mean. I always know when this is just something I've learned, and I've just been thinking about this a lot. I know when I start feeling angry, frustrated, personally depressed, a feeling of angst, upset, all these negative things that will try, they exist. But when these negative things come over me, it is an indication that I have white space on my calendar. I follow the rule of 7, which is really the rule of 21. I follow a rule that every night before I go to bed, I grab an index card. Now, on my index card, there's a lot of white space. So what I do, I write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, and down to 30 things. And I begin the night before I go to bed to write down everything I have to do that next day. I know I've got to make sure that I work out. I got to make sure I have breakfast. Got to make sure that I get dressed. Got to make sure that I drop, my grandson off. Got to make sure I'm teaching at a college. I'm teaching at a program. I got to meet with Martin Wilson. When I finish with Martin Wilson tonight, I got to meet with some bishops tonight. And I fill my calendar up. I got to take the garbage out. I got to wash the car. I got to do the yard. I got to do some exercise tonight. Got to run. And then at the end, I have 8 o'clock. Got to be in bed and sleep. I have no white space on my calendar. And when I work with intentionality, I have goals. I have like 7 goals I'm trying to reach every year. On this calendar is my 7 goals broken down into multiple actions, whether it's devotion, whether it's prayer, whether it's reading my Bible. I include everything I'm trying to do. And as I get it done, I check it out. I check it out. I check it out. What that does, it gives my mind a track to run on. And if I have a track to run on, no matter what throws me off, I come back to my track. Some bad happens, I come back to my track. I'm spinning off, I come back. And I follow this. You'll normally find an index card in my pocket or on my phone. I have tried it both ways. They both work. The phone is cute. Technology is cute. But when you make yourself write what you got to do out, it does a proprioception cognition that locks in. My alarm clock wakes up at 4 o'clock every morning. I'm up at 3:59. And my wife said, "Why are you up?" I say, "My alarm clock's going to go off." She said, "How do you do that?" Because I have no white space on the calendar. I make sure I get 8 hours of sleep, but I make sure that I'm working with a calendar. So like in the other room, I have an index card. And when I finish with you, I'm going to check you off. And then I have another meeting in about 40 minutes. I'm going to check that off, and I'm going to work through my calendar. I'll look up, and within the week, whatever was bothering me has gone, because those negativities cannot stand a man who has a plan that is working his schedule. He who lacks discipline despiseth his soul. My calendar, my rule of 21, rule of 30, rule of 50, it keeps me on track. It keeps me grinding. My daughter said, "Why are you so focused?" My wife says, "Why are you getting up? You're running this dog. What is going on?" And what I later, throughout the months, my wife getting up working out now. My daughter at Planet Fitness. People will find the rhythm. If a leader will create his schedule, come on now.
That's good.
If a leader will follow this simple rule, he or she will transform his life. My leaders told me that when we started the college, "Bishop, we don't think we have enough time. We need more time." I said, "No, we don't. We don't need more time." I said, we need to fill our calendars. Y'all worry, and you don't have enough on your calendar to do. And once they realized what I was saying, not only did we exceed our expectations for our college, we were over 140%.
Wow.
And they stared at me.
Wow.
How did that happen?
That-
I said, because I'm teaching you wisdom leadership principles that you can use for your ministry and be able to take them abroad. So I still do vacations with the wife every other month. And just to I want to just talk about, hit this again. I think this way. When I go to the gym, I have about 50 things that I try to do within an hour. I don't get them all done. It's okay. I'm never distracted. Your greatest temptations will come in your moments of relaxation. Your greatest temptation. You ain't going to be tempted while you out cutting the yard trying to kill a snake. You're going to be tempted when you sucking on a caramel breve latte at Starbucks trying to eat a biscotti. Men.
That's good stuff.
Men have to work. If men would get in the grind and you grind through the day, supernaturally things start coming your way and doors start opening and all the stuff that I hear people deal with. I usually tell them you have too much white space on your calendar. When I go to bed at night, Martin, at 8 o'clock, I'm exhausted. I fall out and I'm gone. The weekends are for the wife. Date night on Fridays. Saturday is housework and be with the wife. Sunday, go worship God that morning, and then we take the whole day off and have dinner and go to the beach and enjoy our fellowship, invite friends who we like to come together. We have built a life. We must live life by design, not by default. We must live it by design. So this is how you design your life, by building a calendar. A man with a plan cannot be denied. A man with a strategy has hope. I can go all day on this because this is the juice. It's the juice. And what I do, I force myself every night to go through. So if you ask me tomorrow, Bishop, I need you to do something, I'm going to say no because I already had this plan.
You're not on my you're not on my Bishop, it is so amazing that you said, because just this week, I didn't write mine, but I started putting what I have to do each day together, and it stays in front of me. So that was worth the price of this whole call right here.
Write the vision. Write the vision. Make it plain. So he who reads it, the person who wrote it, so he who reads it can run. And I want to say something. That's why we're here.
Listen,
you gotta
guys.
let me hear this. Okay, so yes. We out of time. So when you walk, a walk is when you walking is heel. When you walk in heel, mid-stance, propulsion. Heel, mid-stance, propulsion. There are 3 steps in walking. When you run, it is heel, propulsion. Running causes you to improve the method and the timing by cutting out 30%. You're 30% better. In other words, you are compressing time. You compress time. What would take somebody 10 days to do, it takes me 3 because I've learned how to run.
That's wonderful. You're a bad man. You're bad. I cannot mess with you. I've got to get you back on. I got to try to get on your calendar. I'll wait a couple of weeks. This will probably air week after next on our podcast. So you guys, I'm so excited to be able to get this out, and I will send you a copy, Bishop. I'll put it inside of my Google Drive and send you the link so you can download it, use it any way you'd feel appropriate, definitely. So listen, you've been listening to the Black Church Leadership Podcast. This has been a phenomenal interview tonight with Bishop John Wade. So we ask that you do like, share, and subscribe. Go back, get a piece of paper, write your calendar, take some notes from this particular interview tonight. Remember, God is the greatest power, and you are absolutely not defeated. God bless.
You have been listening to the Black Church Leadership Podcast with Master Life Coach and NLP practitioner, Apostle Martin Wilson. We ask that you follow Apostle on all major podcast outlets and the official website www.wilsonleadership.org.
Sponsored by Billy Ryan Life and Executive Coaching and the Ecclesia Ecumenical Leadership and Church Growth Development Network. Executive Producer, Billy Ryan.